Let's try a new cafe together on Queen Street. It's called Isle of Coffee, and as far as I've researched on Google Maps, it's highly rated. The interior looks really cool, and the coffee and treats also look pretty good. So hopefully it'll live up to our expectations. And let's chat on the way. So I will be talking about a few different things during our hangout, and I hope you'll follow along and see what the cafe looks like, as well as listen to me yap. Alright, so while we're heading there, we just passed Broadview Hotel. It's a really nice hotel. I love old-fashioned buildings, if I haven't said that enough already. But anyway, I will show the full view of the Broadview Hotel shortly when I cross the street. It'll look much better that way. Anyway, so we're at the intersection of Broadview and Queen Street, and it's just a very short walk from here to the cafe, so we'll have a nice chat on the way. So first, I wanted to talk about the idea of originality. I was actually going to talk about it in my last vlog, but I was just talking way too much and I needed to cut it short. Oh yeah, this is the hotel. Looks lovely. I think there's a rooftop lounge, but I've never been, so I'm not quite sure. Anyway, I'd like to talk about the idea that original ideas don't exist, as well as, oh look, those are cool radiators. Are they using the radiators as a fence, or I'm not sure, but anyway, so I don't think original ideas exist at all. I think we all tap into a dimension where thoughts exist, and everyone has access to the entirety of the dimension, so everyone has access to an infinite possible number of thoughts and ideas. So when we think about something, we're actually tapping into that thought in the thought dimension. I'm not sure how it works exactly, but I'm guessing it has something to do with the frequency you're in and the brain's algorithm. But any idea or thought you have comes from that dimension, and any other person on the planet could tap into that same thought, that same idea. So I don't think original ideas really exist, but just because they don't doesn't mean you shouldn't execute them. I do believe that we tap into certain thoughts for a reason. I do think we tap into certain ideas for a reason. There's no such thing as living in a vacuum and coming up with an original idea that nobody's ever thought about. So just because someone's already thought about it, or just because many people put a certain idea into action, doesn't mean you can't either. Oh, by the way, that's a really pretty building, so I wanted to show you. Oh, and we're already here at the Isle of Coffee. Sorry, I cut off the discussion like really early on, but we've already come. It's a pretty short walk, so we'll continue once we get our treats. So yeah, this is the Isle of Coffee. It's a really interesting and unique facade, and it looks like a curtain draping over. The building always used to have this facade, but it wasn't always a cafe. And as you see here, it's a lovely interior. The entire cafe just looks like a really wide and long minimalist barrel vault corridor. It looks like, I would say, a modern take on cisterns, like ancient cisterns. I really like the warm lighting and the way the ceiling and walls meet seamlessly. And here we can see quite a bit of nice treats. They mostly have madeleines. There's chocolate, truffle honey, lemon bear, coffee, and matcha. Since I'm already drinking coffee, I went with the matcha flavored madeleine. If there was a hojicha flavored Madeleine, I would definitely choose that. But the next best option is matcha. So I got the matcha Madeleine as well as an iced latte. Of course, my go-to drink will be iced lattes until it's below 10 degrees Celsius. Below that, I could switch to warm beverages, but yeah. As a Canadian, I refuse to drink anything too hot. The backyard is really nice. Since it was kind of chilly out, nobody was outside. I was the only one, just me and this tree. And the tree, like, the leaves, so pretty. Like, it's a spectrum. So, it's a nice place to relax. I love the backyard. Like, I didn't know it had a backyard. And I'm really happy that I got to film quietly, drink this quietly. Okay, let's open up the matcha Madeleine. All right, this is how it looks. Very standard, nothing inside as a filling. And it was kind of dry. I don't know if it was fresh that day. It was a bit dry and also slightly sweeter than I would prefer. And I really liked the cups that they used because of the dents that were in the cup. That made holding it a lot easier for my unusually small hand. So let's try the iced latte. The coffee isn't that great, to be honest. I'm not sure if it was just a fluke since this is just my first coffee here. It could have just been a coincidence that the coffee was a bit too acidic, but it wasn't a bad cup at all. It was an average iced latte. But considering this is a more fancy boutique coffee shop, I did expect their coffee to be a bit better. I do have high standards for coffee though, so it's definitely a good cup of coffee, and maybe they didn't calibrate the grind size before making mine. But in any case, I would give the iced latte a 7 out of 10. A nice iced latte, but could have been better in terms of the espresso being a bit less acidic. It could have been a softer espresso, if that makes sense. And the Madeleine was like a 7.5 out of 10. It was also pretty good, and it was even better when I dipped it into the coffee. I would definitely like to come back to this cafe. The vibes are immaculate, and who knows, the iced latte could be a 10 out of 10 next time. It could have just been my luck, so wow. It really sounds like I was unsatisfied with my drink and Madeleine, but that's really not the case. So I really love the interior design of this space. I really appreciate the warm lighting as well as the natural colors, as well as the wood benches and side tables. So overall vibe of the cafe, definitely 10 out of 10, 11 out of 10. It's so rare to see like aesthetically pleasing cafes here in Toronto, so it really hits the spot. Obviously, the barrel vaulting doesn't actually have a structural purpose. It's just ornamental, but I really like the vibe. In terms of the iced latte and Madeleine, I would give it an average 7.25 out of 10, but that's just my standards and could have been a fluke, so I will definitely come back again to see if the coffee tastes better. It was just before Halloween when I was filming this, so I really enjoyed watching the projection of the dancing skeletons. I hope you do too. Lifts the mood a little bit. But back to our discussion about originality. Just because an idea or thought isn't original Doesn't mean you shouldn't pursue it or execute it. You should definitely pursue any idea that really lights a spark in you and stays. So all of our thoughts and ideas come from the thought dimension. What does that mean? That means any thought we have isn't ours. It's not something that is unique to us. It's not tied to our identity. Every single idea and thought that passes through our mind, we get to choose whether we believe in it or not. We also get to choose if we act on it or not. It's kind of like social media algorithms. You're not always going to get a thought or an idea you like. And that's especially true if you have a tendency to ruminate or overthink or have intrusive thoughts. Those intrusive thoughts are not your thoughts. And this is a really lovely library. I've been inside the library and it's kind of disappointing that the outside doesn't correlate with the inside, but nonetheless, it's a really pretty library. So if you haven't been, check it out. And also there's a cafe here, like out in the garden. It's like a little greenhouse cafe. So I think this will be my next destination for cafes. Anyway, let's move on. Your mind is just tuning into that thought in the thought dimension. So you can try to tell your mind out loud or with your inner voice to just stop thinking that thought, and you can choose a new thought, a healthier thought. And it could be any random thought to distract you from ruminating on a thought you don't like, a thought that's unhelpful. On the flip side, any thought or idea that you do like, you can take advantage of it. You can use it to your own benefit. If you have an idea that keeps popping up in your mind and it really lights a spark in you and really makes you feel excited and alive, you can decide to act on that idea. And it doesn't matter if it's not original. It came to you for a reason. You tuned into that idea for a reason. Maybe it wanted to find you. Maybe it wanted to be seen by you. It wanted to be realized through you. So if you have an idea to create something, start something, try something, and it really lights you up, you're really curious about it, and it doesn't harm anybody, then it found you for a reason. You tapped into that idea or thought for a reason. And if you keep tapping into that idea, your soul is trying to tell you something. That idea or thought is trying to tell you something. Is trying to be expressed by your unique expression, by your authenticity. It wants your take on it. So it doesn't matter if there's competition. Like I mentioned in my last vlog, I don't think competition exists either. But basically, what I'm trying to say is, if you increase your conscious awareness of your thoughts and ideas, you get to choose and decide which ones you want to entertain and which ones you want to let go of. They're not yours, but if there's any idea or thought that motivates you or excites you, then that idea or thought is worth exploring and acting on, as long as it doesn't harm anyone, including yourself. So don't take your thoughts or ideas too seriously unless there's a certain idea or thought that is healthy, exciting, inspiring, and motivating. On a similar note, I don't think you should take life too seriously. I'm definitely guilty of this. There are times when I take life way too seriously, and I have taken life too seriously since I was a child. So if you also take life a bit too seriously, I hope you learn to enjoy it more, to think of it more as a game, and to balance out your seriousness with a bit of playfulness. I think we all need a little bit more playfulness and childlike wonder in our lives, as well as humor and play and silliness and goofiness. So that's it for today. All right. Yeah, so I realized I can't talk about more than 2 topics per vlog. I end up yapping way too much, but I hope you enjoyed walking and talking with me, enjoying the fall weather, and I think I will start making sit-down videos face to face. I've realized no matter how scared I am to show my face and be seen, I have to show up in the world, and there is a difference between faceless videos, and I think it's really difficult to talk about various topics without showing one's face. I thought I could talk about whatever after seeing videos like Japan Eats videos. I was actually inspired to start making faceless vlogs after watching Japan Eats videos on YouTube Shorts. I love his videos, and I'm not sure if it would work for anyone, but I thought if it worked for Japan Eat, if he's able to be a successful YouTuber without showing his face and just making his jokes and talking in his monotone voice, then why can't I? But I've come to realize that it's time to show my face, so maybe the next video or the one after that will have my face in it. So I hope you look forward to that. If you want to see more of my videos in the future, please consider subscribing and comment down below any topics you would like to hear me discuss. Thank you so much for watching and listening to me. I hope you have a lovely week. Please choose kind and helpful thoughts over unhealthy ones. Oh, this is the St. John's Bakery. I'm really curious about this place, and I think I'll check it out sometime. I hope you take care of yourself, and please let me know if there's any topic you would like me to discuss in particular. All right, bye!